Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Hollywood Sucks. Yeah, I'm gonna do something new with this new video. I'm just gonna go through 5 movies I've seen recently or movies I've seen in the past, and I just give you my opinion, what I think about them. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how this is gonna go. There's no, I'm just gonna say it off the top of my head what I think about them when I see the movie when I show the picture. All right, let's start with the first movie. Okay. All right. Yeah. Bad Boys for Life. I think this was a pretty good sequel, considering the fact it took about more than 10 years to make. When I first heard about this movie, I didn't want to see it at all. I was kind of like, why are they doing this? And I remember Michael Bay, he put out Six Underground like maybe a month before on Netflix before this came out. And I remember thinking, looking at Six Underground, I'm thinking like, this movie's probably not going to top the action that that movie had. But I still like this movie because I still thought Martin and Will were funny in it. They still had the magic. The action scenes weren't as good as the second one, but it had a better story. It had a better, even though it was kind of like, someone's trying to kill Will Smith and whatever. And Martin Lawrence really wasn't. He kind of played the Danny Glover part where he was like in Lethal Weapon 3, but he was real old. Yeah, but it was still exciting. It still had good action. It still had good suspense. I actually liked the villain. I think the lady, I forgot her name. I think her name was Griselda, whatever her name was. And the son, his son, yeah, I thought that was good. And yeah, the jokes, the humor was still good. Like I said, it wasn't as action packed as the second one, but it still holds up. It's a lot better than Lethal Weapon 3. I remember when I was a kid and I saw Lethal Weapon 3 and I thought that was really great, but then later on you realize that movie was just so lame and lackluster. And Lethal Weapon 4 was kind of like a geriatric action movie. But this one, that's another thing. They didn't, even though Will Smith's 50 and I think Martin is 50, it didn't feel like they were 50 years old. Like I said, it still had the same tone, the same vibes as the first two movies. And it didn't let up. I thought this was a pretty good sequel considering that it took 19 years. Do I want to see a fourth one? I don't know. Like I said, I'm tired of reboots and remakes, but this was one of them that actually surprised me. I thought it was decent. All right, let me go next movie. What's the next movie? Okay. All right, Doctor Sleep. Now, I don't know about most people, but I didn't think this movie was that scary at all. But this movie was still good because Ewan McGregor, he was good as Danny Torrance. Like, I'm a big fan of this Stanley Kubrick, and I like The Shining. I've always liked The Shining. But when I saw this movie, I didn't look at it as a sequel to The Shining. I just looked at it as like, okay, this is just a spinoff. One of the problems I had with the movie is that I thought it was trying too much to be like The Shining, because it had the theme music, like, vroom, vroom. Even though I like that music, I thought every 2 minutes the director was trying too hard to be like Kubrick. The story was okay. I felt the movie could have been. I mean, this movie's rated R, and I'm thinking like, why is this movie like the movie wasn't really that violent? I felt like this movie could have been more violent because the characters were really diabolical. I forgot what they were called, but the chick with the hat, whatever, she's in Mission Impossible. She played the leader, and they basically just suck the souls and eat kids and stuff. I'm like, well, movie rated R, Stephen King. Why did it just go all the way? And there's two versions of this movie. There's the director's cut and the original cut. I like the director's cut better, even though it was long as hell. It was really long, and it was like it took forever just to get back to the house. And at the end, and it was like I said, I don't know. Horror movies don't really scare me anyway, but I still thought it was interesting how he was the little girl. Yeah, the little girl in the movie. I liked her. She was good in the movie, and like I liked the way like he was trying to help her with the shining power and stuff like that. I mean, it has some good acting, like the chick from Mission Impossible. I think her name was Rose in the movie. Yeah, I think her name was Rose. She was good as the villain. I liked her as the villain. I liked all the other characters around her. And like I said, this is like a character-driven horror movie. It's like it's not really. I don't even think this movie is really designed to scare you. I think it's just there to like. I think it's just there to. They're just there to tell a story. I think it's just a dark story, but it's I mean, it didn't have the same dark tone as The Shining, but it was still interesting. And like I said, I don't even like most Stephen King movies. Most Stephen King movies are dumb, and they're just a waste of time. But this is one of the few ones that I actually liked. I was actually surprised I was gonna like this movie because when I first came out, I was like, I don't want to see this crap. Yeah, so I don't know. Like I said, I'm not gonna rate these movies. I'm just gonna tell you what I liked them, or not. If I don't like them, you'll know in the commentary. So I'm not gonna. I mean, I guess for Bad Boys, I'd probably give it 3 stars, 3.5. I don't know. This I might give 3.5, in that range. I'm not sure. I mean, basically 3 stars. It was enjoyable. So Bad Boys, maybe I give it 3.5, and this I give 3. Um, all right, let's go to the next movie. Okay. Man, I saw this movie. Oh my god, this movie! I love this movie, and I love this movie for one reason. That guy right there, right there. And I'm telling you, like I remember I saw this is way better than the Godzilla movie because the Godzilla movie, the one that came out in 2014. See, I remember the Godzilla movie, the one that came out in the 90s. That the guys who did Independence Day, they did. And I remember being so hyped for that movie as a kid, and then when I saw that piece of shit, I was like, oh my god, this is like one of the worst movies I've ever seen. And then they came up with Godzilla, and I'm like, well, it's not the worst movie I ever saw, but it just took forever to see Godzilla, and it was like all these other human characters I didn't care about. But this movie right here, man, this movie gets right to the point, man. It just gets right to the point in the first 5 minutes. And it's like got some of the best, I think some of the best CG fight scenes, CG fight sequences ever. The skull crawlers, Kong, and even the cast, even though I feel like there's way too many characters in this movie, they could have cut out at least 2 or 3 characters in this movie. But I still liked everybody in the movie. I liked Samuel Jackson. I liked, what's the guy's name? I forgot the guy's name. The guy who plays Loki. He's in the movie. John Goodman was good in it. And there was a whole bunch of other characters in the movie that didn't really belong in it. Oh yeah, the guy from I like the guy from Straight Outta Compton. The guy who played Eazy-E. I think his name is Mitchell, Jason Mitchell. Yeah, I liked him. Captain Marvel, she was okay in the movie. She really didn't have anything to do, and I mean that was the major flaw of this movie, was that they had too many characters with nothing to do. But other than that, the tone of the movie was right. The way they did Kong was good. The fight scenes, the action scenes was good. And this is pretty violent for a PG-13 movie. They might as well just make the movie rated R. But this is way better than the Godzilla movie. And it's even better than the King of Monsters movie. This is one of my favorite monster movies. It became one of my favorite monster movies ever because it's just go see the movie for Kong. Forget all the actors. Just go see the movie for Kong. Okay? And this is my shit. I love this movie. I give this a 4-star because I know some people might disagree, but prove me wrong. Okay? Name me a monster movie you've seen. Don't tell me Pacific Rim because I was stupid. I didn't like Pacific Rim. Yeah, this is like a 4 stars for me. I love Kong Skull. I hope the King Kong and Godzilla movie. Well, that was supposed to come out this year too, but hopefully that movie is decent. But then again, I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait till next year. But anyway, I give this 4 stars. All right, next movie. Oh God, man, I don't know what to say about this movie. Anybody who was ever a fan of The Road Warrior with Mel Gibson and likes this movie needs to get their head examined. This movie was so stupid. Now, like I said, I like George Miller. This movie wasn't bad. It was well made, but it's really stupid. Because first of all, the movie's got the wrong title. It should have been just called Fury Road. Because it's basically all about Charlize Theron's character. Mad Max is basically just there. He literally has nothing to do with the story. And I'm thinking, like, why are you calling the movie Mad Max? I'd have been more satisfied if you just called it Fury Road and just made it about her. I mean, the movie is such a lie. It's like, and then there was this, and then it was hard to take the movie seriously at the end, where you see the chase scene and the guys on the helicopter. I mean, not the helicopter, the guitar, and he's like doing all that crazy. And it's like, what does this have to do with a chase scene? Why are you playing a guitar during the chase scene? Is that supposed to mean something? Is that supposed to be like some cool hip glib type of thing where it's a part of the soundtrack? And then I just didn't care about Tom Hardy's Mad Max. I just thought, like, no. And he's a good actor. He's a really good actor. And I feel like I just felt like this movie was a waste of time. I don't know why people think this movie's good. There's only one good scene in this movie. There's only one good action scene in this movie. It was a chase scene and near like the middle of the movie where they're going through the canyons. And that was probably the only scene that was in the movie that was good. Every other action scene in this was just over the top. It was dumb. The plot, there was no plot to this movie at all, and it had nothing to do with Max. So I'm like, what the fuck am I watching this movie? And it was like, and a lot of people like this movie, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because of Charlize Theron. But last time I checked, this movie was called Mad Max, not Furiosa Max, or Mad Furiosa. But this shit. I couldn't get into this movie. I don't care what anybody say. This movie's corny. It's stupid, and it's like I said, it just had no real plot. It was like, oh, they go down the road this way, then they realize they have to go back, and the pregnant girls, and it was like, I didn't give a shit. I really didn't care. I did kind of like the villain though. He had a good look, but other than that, his motives were dumb. It was like, why? Who cares? We didn't even know how she got the kids and the pregnant girls, how she did all that. We don't know. And then the fact that he gets caught so early in the movie, literally right after he narrates the beginning of the story, which I thought was dumb because like, why is he narrating the story? He's not even the main character in the movie. He's literally just playing a side. He's playing a side character in his own movie. This is bullshit. No wonder they didn't make a sequel. And I'm like, Tom Hardy just kind of wasted his time in this movie. I mean, he's done better stuff than this, and I'm thinking like, this is one of the most hyped movies, overly hyped movies of the last decade for no reason, because it's shit. I give this about maybe 1.5. I mean, it's nothing really that I can look at and say, oh wow, I love this movie so much. No, this is, and I don't even know if this was supposed to be a sequel or a reboot. I really don't care. I'm done with it. I give this like 1.5 stars, maybe two just for the action. But other than that, I don't care. All right, next movie. All right. Yes. All right. Finally, a sequel that's worth watching. Now, I seen The Raid a couple. I think I saw it last year. The first time I saw The Raid was last year. I'd heard about the first movie, and actually, I saw this movie before I saw The Raid. Man, a lot of people say this is a really good movie, but I don't really. To me, it's just a good martial arts movie because it's just so raw. And it's just so powerful. Like all the fight scenes in the movie, you can tell the stunt work is theirs. It's like I like the main character Rama. He's always good. He wasn't that good in that Netflix show Wu Assassins, but I always liked him in these movies. And these movies are not, the Raid movies are not really, they kind of remind me of the old John Woo movies like Hard Boiled, The Killer, like all those, even though this is I think Indonesian, but this reminds me of those movies where it's like the action is just hardcore and it's like no bullshit, they're not pulling no punches, all the fight scenes were amazing. The story is kind of like, familiar territory. Oh, he has to infiltrate the gang, blah, blah, blah. We've seen all that. But as far as the fight scenes, I mean, you can't get better fight scenes in this movie. I'm telling you. I mean, the closest thing as far as like modern movies is probably the Matrix movies. And that's about it. I mean, they got like, I know Netflix has got a couple movies like this, like Revenger, The Revenger, Night Comes for Us. I think those are the same guys that produced this movie. Is this one of the best sequels ever made? For a martial arts movie, it is. It's not the best sequel ever made as far as like overall. That's like saying this movie's better than Terminator 2 or Aliens or something. It's not. Or The Road Warrior. But as far as martial arts, it's one of the best martial arts sequels I've ever seen. And like I said, I like The Raid. I like the first movie. And like if you want good martial arts action, I just give this 5 stars just for the action alone. But as far as the movie, I give it maybe 3.5 stars. It drags a little bit, but when it picks up, it picks up. Yeah, man, I'm telling you, get through. If you want to see good martial arts action, and you're in the Hong Kong action, like Asian movie action, this is probably the movie. So that's all I got to say about these 5 movies. These are just 5 movies I watched randomly. Tell me what you think about them. Leave a comment. If you want to subscribe. All right. Hollywood Sucks out.